Hey everybody, welcome to Game Time. I'm your host, Bill Culp. And you know what? It's June, but guess what? Sports are still going on here in Springford, and especially on these fields right by me here. We got girls softball still playing for districts and heading to states, and then the boys looking to go to states too. So when we come back, we're going to talk to Coach Hughes, and then after that, talk to Coach Harrison. So stay tuned, grab a snack, we'll be right back.
Operation Wonder Park is a go!
There's nothing more powerful than imagination.
Honey, have you seen my cell phone?
But don't just imagine.
My park came to life?
Ooh, a plot twist!
Use STEM to build, create,
She did it!
and change the world.
Who's with me?
I'm more of a 2 feet on the ground kind of guy.
It's gonna hurt tomorrow.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, welcome back to RCTV's Game Time. We're here on the softball field with legendary coach Tim Hughes. How you doing there, Tim?
I'm not quite sure about legendary, but I appreciate the props.
You're the winningest coach in Springford. You're not going to talk about that, but that's okay. All right, so let's talk about this. You're one win away from winning districts. Obviously, made it into states. But kind of give us some background. You've been coaching a little bit. How many years have you been coaching?
I was lucky enough to coach right out of college. In '89, I started with football, and then a few years later, I picked up softball and then got rid of the football and stuck with the softball. It seems to bring a little bit more joy to my life. Keeps my golf swing well too. So.
Yeah, well, it definitely brings joy to life. You got a winning program here. You've always had a winning program, and not to say you've always had that hint of, should I walk away from the game? Your kids are older and this and that. You got to be glad that you didn't walk away.
I think wins and losses have nothing. It has something to do with it, but not as much as people think. I get great kids, and great kids make good coaches. And I know that sounds cliche, but it is definitely true here. I've been blessed over the last quarter century here that I've been given a lot of good talent to work with. So it's what I'm doing with the Play-Doh that works, and I'm giving the Play-Doh to the solid color Play-Doh to work with. So they're doing fantastic.
All right, you mentioned talent, but let's get to it. 3 things at this point that, especially, going to states and this and that, what do you think the 3 keys are that you need to possess?
We just need to play fundamentally sound. I mean, defense has been something that I think everybody always tries to preach. We work on it, in which we're working on it now. It seems to carry us over the last, since I've been here, we focused on that. Offensively, get the bat on the ball, swing for line drives. We're not trying to hit home runs. They're mistakes. It just so happens we have a few mistakes this year, which is awful nice when it happens, but we're still looking to just move runners, hit the ball hard. The other thing is the confidence, and these girls have confidence coming in, and they know that everybody has confidence right now. You could have the most talent in the world, but if you don't carry that with you up to the plate or out to the field, you're not going to be able to use it. So that's what we just try to instill. Play fundamentals, bat on ball, and just play with confidence that you have.
And now I like that you said the confidence thing, because some coaches are opposite. They don't want, like that little bit of an edge, that cockiness. And I was going to say, especially how are you motivating you guys undefeated? You guys clearly have a lot of talent. How do you, at this point, keep them focused game by game and not getting in over their head?
Well, we just try to make sure that they understand, and we can go back through the stats through the entire year and see that one person has not carried. We have everybody has stepped up at one point in time. And again, it's not wrong, but it's a difficult thing to deal with some of the other travel programs in which it's more of a showcase kind of setting rather than a team setting. These girls here, they bought into the team atmosphere. So nobody's really carrying the weight of, I got to do it all. We got to do it all. And they really subscribe to it. And I think that helps, because it's a whole lot better when you got another 15 girls in your corner that are behind you. That's the confidence I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm not real good on the arrogance or the cockiness either. I think there's obviously a line between the two. The confidence that we're referring to is their ability to do the job. They've done it already, and if they if they fail, there's other people to pick them up, and that's what they're trained to do, and that's what they're trying to do, and they do a great job with it.
All right, and hunted. All right, so hunted comes to mind. You guys are hunted right now. You guys are a powerhouse. How do you kind of like instill in that, like, hey, listen, you're getting everybody's best game. I mean, they're geared up for you. Forget the league. Springford's known now around the area. I mean, you guys got a beautiful field. Not only do you have a beautiful field, you got, like you said, the talent to back it up. But how's it feel to be hunted?
We use that, and we know that. In the league, it's everybody's biggest game, and these girls have heard that from me, oh my gosh, before every game. Because, again, it's something that they have, the kids that I've had prior to them and everything else is established here. And it's always one thing, and I tell them the exact same thing. You're going to get everybody's best game. Nobody's taking a day off. And now we're at this point in the year, there's only, playing for district title, and then in the States, there's nobody that's just going to come and say, oh gosh, we're just, who we playing? No, everybody knows who they're playing, one team or another, and everybody's just fired up and ready to go. So it's not hard to get them fired up. They know they're carrying the weight of a lot of people and predecessors, the girls that come to the game still at this time. They're at every game, and they stop in and talk to us afterwards. And they all realize that. But it's good because they have to come prepared, which helps us out now. They can't take a day off. And, hey, that's the best thing I'd rather have that than go under the radar or something and have the girls relax a little bit now. They know that they have to always bring their best.
No, I agree. It's kind of interesting. You just made me think of a question. Those girls that have graduated, even you've been around for a while. You've gone to states, semifinal, in the finals, this and that. Do you kind of use them to kind of talk to the girls and tell them, like, hey, listen, this is what you got to expect. This is what, you got to prepare for each game kind of mentally. Do you use that and along with your past experience?
Probably not. You know what? Each team is different. They bring a different persona, different personalities, different leadership. And most of the time, I could say 98% of the time I was here, I've had great leaders and everything else. But these kids here, every team has a different makeup. Treat them all differently, but they're still all the same with the same goal, and they know that we're looking for one thing, to win the last game of the season. Every team I've ever coached for since back in '96 or whatever, it's been play that last game and get a chance to do it, and that's the idea. So they come here, they know they're carrying some weight. The girls that are here, that were here last night, they were talking about some things because they were the ones that lost in the state semis 2 years ago. And they're just as fired up for us as these girls are. So it's a nice tradition to have here. These girls really do piggyback off the previous years, but we don't use there because it's a different makeup. It's a totally different makeup each year.
All right, and talking about that, the previous years, and you mentioned the word fundamental. I know that's what you're about. Yeah. How is that something you're working on at this point, in this juncture of the year? It's far in the year. Is that something you still are just constantly keying on, or just hoping, girls, you should understand those fundamentals at this point, but it is something to review each time.
We don't spend a whole lot of time as much as we did in the beginning on this, that, and this and that. We have our calls. They have them down. They work on them now. We work on them every practice, though. It's just, instead of working for 45 minutes on them now, it's down to 15 minutes or 10 minutes to make sure we're all in the same position during different situations, first and thirds, bunt situations, various slapping situations. They all know them, so all we do is just kind of make sure that they're honed in. That's what I mean by fundamentals. And we still work solid, just ground balls, just making sure we feel it properly and we know where we're going, because that's what games, man. Don't make errors. You have a good chance of being around. That's what we're trying to do. All
right, last question. I'm going to let you go because I know you got to get back. As a former athlete, what do you think is harder? Do you think it's harder coaching, like knowing, like going to the districts and states, or is it harder watching? Is it harder playing or watching?
Well, when I played, I had hair. So I can tell you now that it is probably, good question. I have more stress as a coach than I ever did as a player, and I was pretty wound up as a player. But there's definitely more pressure. Not pressure, just you want the kids to succeed. And you're not thinking of yourself or your team, like you're thinking of everybody. I'm thinking of Springford. I'm thinking of you guys here. Like that's a feather in our cap here. And all these girls bleed blue and gold, and so do I. And it's just it's just you want to bring that kind of aura here at Springford, and that's what we're trying to do. And that's what we do.
That's awesome. Hopefully you get that. The girls brought a tennis championship. Hopefully this spring you guys bring us a state title. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
I'll tell you what, yes, it would be.
That would be. Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Wow, that was great. Hey, you don't feel the intensity from that guy. You got to get out here as they're still playing, because guess what? They're win way from winning the districts, and then it's on to states. I didn't want to say anything to them, but they're ranked nationally. I didn't want to say that to Tim Hughes because Coach Hughes is going to get a little crazy, but make sure you come out and support these girls. So go ahead and grab a little snack, maybe a drink, because we come back, we're going to talk to Coach Harrison about the boys' chances of moving on.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. So everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family for home fires.
Hey!
There are amazing things to discover in the forest.
Toothless, time to go! What you picking up on, bud?
It's a whole hidden world of wonders. And the perfect place to spend time with family. What better place to let your imagination soar? Experience nature and create a memory you can share. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest or park near you.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Game Time again. I'm your host Bill Culp, and it was great talking to Coach Hughes, but guess what? We're on the big diamond right now. We're getting ready to talk to Coach Harrison about the boys' chances this year and how's it going right now. All right, so hey Coach, how you doing there?
Good, how are you?
I am fantastic. All right, so let's just, we'll take it right off the bat. You guys had a big win last night, obviously. A walk-off. I mean, was as exciting for you as it was for the kids?
Yeah, I mean, I've been coaching a while, and with this group, you just never know, and we're never down. I mean, we can score runs in bunches. We broke it down before the inning and just said we needed 4 base runners to start off with. We got 4 base runners. Then we got a single, and we got Dylan up, no outs. He had a 0-2 count, worked it to 1-2, and kid left the fastball up and in, and he just turned on it. It was amazing. It was exciting.
It was neat to watch, I will tell you that. All right, so let's get into it. It's been great, number one, obviously getting the season in, and it's sort of been a long season. We're talking in June. At this point, what do you think the keys are in hopefully making it to states and extending your play?
I mean, we just have to be resilient. We started the season in our league 2 weeks later than everyone else. We had, COVID protocol we went through. We've had a few injuries we'd had to fight through. And right now we just got to keep just grinding it out and next man up mentality, step up there, get the job done on the mound, and have quality at-bats, and I think we'll be all right.
What do you think, is your strength right now overall as you look at your team, especially at this point?
I think the guys are all competing. I mean, everyone on the roster is competing and pushing each other, but I think from an offensive standpoint, we're getting quality at-bats like 1 through 9, which I think is key at this point, where you don't have any dead outs in the lineup. Everyone can put the ball in play. Everyone can hit. We're getting a lot better bunting. Our base running is pretty strong right now. So I would say our offense right now is pretty strong, and if our pitchers throw strikes, I think we'll be okay again.
How hard is it to keep them focused? I mean, especially the seniors, you hate to say this, but, graduation's coming up. They've been in and out of school and things like that. It's got to be tough. They're smelling that summer. How do you deal with that, and how do you just keep them focused? Like, hey guys, this could be long from over. We don't want to go home yet.
Right, and that's the hardest part. Again, I think from my years of coaching is you start getting into June, and it can, if you let any I guess mental weakness, I guess, creep into your mind and start thinking about beyond the season, then it can be all over. So trying to keep these guys focused. Right before districts, we had Wall of Fame member Rod Johnson come out, and he spoke to the boys, and he talked about like running a marathon, and it's 26.2 miles, I believe, and we're like at mile 25, and we pushed so hard from the fall through all the COVID protocol to this point in the season And it's like you don't want to be the guy that just kind of gives up at like 25 and a half miles. Like you just got to finish. And I think that really resonated with the team. And I'm hoping, from what I can see and the way we've been, locked in, we seem mentally focused. It's just a matter of getting the job done at this point.
How much is it? I mean, again, you talked about that, the focus, at this stage of the game, to keep them understand that, it's almost like a one and done. It's almost like an NCAA tournament where you have to win.
Yeah, and that's where we are right now. I mean, last week we were one game from states, and unfortunately we lost that game. But right now we're one game of getting the states, and it's one and done. And try to explain to them, we've been together for so long. I mean, the last 2 years, despite not playing last year, we worked out in the fall, we worked out in the winter. And, I just want them to understand that the finality of it. If you're not coming ready to play, like this will be some of these guys' last times maybe playing baseball and definitely playing for Springford. And I think from them, playing together probably since as early as T-ball, I got the feeling they just want to keep playing together. And I think that's what we need to do.
Hopefully getting 2 states and you guys do that. What do you feel is going to be key for you guys to advance? Offensively, pitching, what do you see?
I think if we get some quality outings from our pitchers, I think at this point, again, with a few guys down, we've had some guys step up. And, if we can work ahead, keep the tempo and play good defense, I think we'll be able to compete with anyone.
Kind of led me perfectly in my next question, which is, you made me think of it, as you said, as the season goes on, injuries start to, the season's long. How do you kind of combat that? Do you kind of at practices make sure, a little less throwing or this and that to try to give them a little bit of a break? Because it's a lot of baseball.
Yeah, it's at this point it's a physical grind, but it's also a mental grind. So we gave them 3 days off over Memorial Day weekend, and we practiced Monday, Memorial Day. Today you can see we're out in shorts, so the guys, we generally will wear baseball pants and shirts, but today we set a shorts day. We went right into some of our pregame hitting today and took it light on the defensive end. We called up some of the JV catchers to give our varsity catchers a break today from catching bullpen. So I think anything we can do to keep them fresh at this point of the year is a bonus, because like I said, we started later, so we were playing 3 or 4 games a week when maybe some other teams were playing 2 games a week. So we've been going at it pretty hard.
I agree. And do you think that was a good thing or a bad thing, playing that much? They get 3 days. You kind of feel like maybe that gave you a little bit more momentum. You got in your groove a little bit.
I think I liked it for the most part, because, I mean, the practices, if you don't change them up, they can get a little stale later in the season. So I think the guys like to play, and I certainly like, the depth we have, especially in the catcher's position, so you can kind of give a guy a break here and there. But it can, be a little stressful if you don't have the pitching depth. So we've run into some weeks, I feel like, where we're down a little bit on the back end of the rotation, but we've been giving some guys a chance, and some guys have been stepping up, and that's what we want to see right now. And we're working out a ton of pitchers, and we told moving forward, anyone could be called on, whether you're on the varsity rotation or in the JV rotation, but we have confidence in all the guys. If they just come in and throw strikes and locate, we'll be all right.
Last question then. What do you think, is probably looking at your year, the thing that this team, maybe you set a goal for yourself or something they improved on from the beginning until now?
Well, I said, in the beginning, I always want the guys to have a good experience, enjoy playing together, and if you're competing in the June like we are, I mean the season's a huge success. And I think, if you said the season was going to be over tomorrow, no one would think it would be, successful, because we want to continue to play because we're competitors. But I think as the year progressed, I think the guys really are learning how to compete more. In this day and age of a lot of showcase baseball, where they're going this summer, and they're just working out and they're showcasing, where we're trying to teach them, bunting, hit and run, reading dirt balls, all the little things that make you a little bit more competitive in a high school setting. I think they're getting a lot better at that, holding runners, controlling the running game, some of the little things that aren't necessarily worked on as much, I would say, maybe in the showcase or travel circuit. So, I think they're getting a lot better understanding of the game, and our communication's a lot better as well. And I think they're understanding what I want from them and and the communication has been good on that end as well.
All right, well, I lied. I got one more question.
Sorry.
That's all right. All right, so the pressure. I was thinking the pressure. Talk to Coach Hughes about this. Springford perennially is a very good team, especially in baseball. They're known as a powerhouse. Talk about, like, do you think they like that? Because we know that the Legion team in the area does really, really well. It's a feeder program here. Do you find that that's a very good thing? And do you find that the kids, like that experience playing for the feeder teams and things like that? Do you think that's a big thing coming into high school baseball?
I mean, I think it's a good thing. Like, the expectation here to win is always there. And when I took the job, like, I don't think anyone's going to put any more pressure on the team than I'll put on my on myself to be successful. So I think, I'd much rather coach on a team that's expected to win every year than to lose every year, because that means you usually have some pretty good talent. I mean, we have people, we have this facility, we have the fitness center, we have a strength coach, we have a great feeder system. So yeah, I do think we should be competitive every year, and I'll be the first to say that, and I think the guys, they love it.
I love talking to you. Good luck there, Coach. All right. Hey, he's right. They got beautiful facilities. Make sure you come out here and watch these kids and support these boys. I think they're going to make states, and they could make a run. So thanks for joining me on Game Time. Until next time, I'm your host, Bill Culp. Have a good night.